Have you ever felt it? That cold knot in your stomach when a conversation turns sharp. The heat rising in your chest when someone questions your integrity, challenges your authority, or deliberately tries to push you off balance. It doesn't have to be a physical threat. In our world, the duel is rarely fought with swords. It's fought in the boardroom, during a performance review. It's fought at the family dinner table, with words that cut deeper than any blade. It's fought online, in a storm of anonymous comments, designed to provoke and wound. In those moments, the world seems to shrink down to just you and that other person. And a question hangs in the air, silent but deafening. Will you freeze? Will you let your emotions betray you, handing your power over to the person who provoked them? Or will you stand firm, centered and unshakable, like a mountain in the middle of a storm? This isn't just about winning an argument. This is about preserving your inner peace. This is about mastering the art of the modern duel. There was a man who understood this better than anyone. His name was Miyamoto Musashi, the most renowned swordsman in Japanese history. He fought over 60 duels in his lifetime and never once tasted defeat. But to call him just a swordsman is to miss the point entirely. Musashi wasn't just a master of the sword. He was a master of the human mind. His true weapon wasn't the steel in his hand, but the profound stillness in his soul. He understood that every conflict, from a life or death duel to a simple disagreement, is won or lost in the mind before the first move is ever made. He left behind a guide, a philosophy of victory called the Book of Five Rings. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on his ancient wisdom and forge it into 5 modern principles, 5 keys that will unlock your ability to stay calm, centered, and in control in any confrontation you will ever face. Part 1. The untouchable mind. Detach from your ego. Musashi's first principle is perhaps the most difficult, yet the most liberating. He wrote, "Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world." What does this mean for us today? It means the first and most common mistake we make in any confrontation is that we take it personally. The moment your ego enters the arena, you have already begun to lose. Imagine you're in a performance review. Your boss delivers some harsh criticism about a project you poured your heart into. What is the ego's immediate response? Defensiveness, anger, the urge to list excuses. You look at it with curiosity, as if it were an object. You detach. You ask yourself not, "How dare they say that to me?" but rather, "Is there truth in this? What part of this feedback is useful data? What is the real motivation behind these words?" This is the essence of Stoic wisdom as well. The world will throw things at you: insults, challenges, unfair accusations. You cannot control this, but you have absolute, unbreakable control over how you perceive them. The moment you stop seeing a confrontation as an attack on you and start seeing it as simply an event in the world, its power over you evaporates. Your ego is a terrible bodyguard. It's jumpy, insecure, and overreacts to everything. To become unshakable, you must gently ask it to step aside. Observe the situation like a strategist studying a map, not like a soldier in the line of fire. When you think lightly of yourself, no insult can touch you. You become a fortress. Part 2. The Way of Water. Embrace fluidity. Musashi's second principle is a lesson in adaptability. He taught, fixation is the way to defeat. Fluidity is the way to victory. Have you ever been in an argument where you become obsessed with proving one single point? You repeat it over and over, getting louder and more frustrated, while the other person just digs in their heels. That is fixation. It's like trying to smash a stone wall by running into it again and again. You only end up bruised and exhausted. Musashi understood that true strength is not rigid. It is fluid, like water. Water can be gentle enough to cleanse a wound, but it can also carve canyons through solid rock over time. Bruce Lee famously said, "Be like water, my friend." But what if you changed your goal? What if, instead of winning, your goal became to understand? Instead of repeating your point, you become fluid. You stop pushing and you listen. You ask a question. Help me understand why you see it that way. You might even agree with a small part of their argument to throw them off balance. You know, that's a fair point. You are simply moving with the flow of the conflict, adaptable and formless. Part 3. The view from the summit. See all the paths. The third principle teaches us to think beyond the obvious. Musashi advised, "You must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain." Most of us enter a conflict with a very narrow view of what winning looks like. We think it means dominating the opponent, making them submit, having the last word. We see only one path, the most direct and aggressive one. But this is playing checkers. Musashi and the great Stoics played chess. They understood that sometimes the most powerful move is not a move at all. Consider a business negotiation. The checker player's approach is to fight tooth and nail for every single point, creating an adversarial relationship. The chess master understands there are other paths to victory. Perhaps they concede a minor point they never cared about to build goodwill. This makes the other party feel like they've won, lowering their guard for the points that truly matter. That is another path to the top. Sometimes, the most brilliant strategy is a calculated retreat. In a fight with a toxic person who thrives on drama, the only winning move is not to play. By refusing to engage, by walking away, you deny them the emotional reaction they feed on. You let them exhaust themselves in a battle against silence. That too is a path to the top. This requires you to zoom out from the immediate emotional heat of the conflict and see the entire landscape. Is this battle even worth fighting? Is a short-term victory here going to lead to a long-term loss of a relationship or reputation? When you realize that victory can mean a strategic silence, a disarming question, a graceful exit, or even letting the other person think they've won, a profound sense of calm settles over you. You are no longer trapped by their rules. You are not forced to take the bait. You see all the paths, and you can choose the one that best serves your ultimate goal. Not just winning the moment, but winning the war for your own tranquility. Part 4. The Universal Key. Know 10,000 things from one. This next principle is what separates the master from the amateur. Musashi said, "From one thing, know 10,000 things." This is the art of pattern recognition. Musashi wasn't undefeated because he was the strongest or fastest. He was undefeated because he was the most prepared. He understood that while the details of every conflict are different, the underlying patterns of human nature are timeless. What does this mean for us? It means becoming a student of the human condition. Once you deeply understand a fundamental concept, like insecurity, you begin to see it everywhere. You see it in the boss who constantly micromanages. You see it in the friend who always one-ups your stories. You see it in the online troll hiding behind a keyboard. They are all drawing from the same well of insecurity. It's the same pattern, just wearing a different mask. When you see the pattern, you are no longer surprised by the behavior. You can anticipate it. How do you learn to see these patterns? You study. But not just in the academic sense. Read history and see how emperors and peasants alike were driven by the same greed and fear that drives people today. Read great literature and philosophy to understand the architecture of the human soul. Watch people. Listen not just to what they say, but to what they don't say. Observe the subtle tells in their body language, the flicker of fear in their eyes. When you understand the pattern of manipulation, you can feel it coming before the first manipulative word is spoken. When you understand the pattern of projection, you realize the other person's anger is not about you at all, but a reflection of their own inner turmoil. This is what Musashi meant. From understanding one core truth about human nature, you unlock the ability to understand 10,000 different situations. You are no longer reacting to the surface-level chaos. You are responding to the deep, underlying structure of the game. And that knowledge gives you an unshakable sense of foresight and calm. Part 5. The Warrior's Forge. You fight how you train. We arrive at the final and most crucial principle. It is the one that ties everything else together. Musashi's words were stark and simple. You can only fight the way you train. Many people live under a delusion. They believe that while they may be anxious, reactive, and easily provoked in their daily lives, they will somehow magically rise to the occasion when a real confrontation occurs. Musashi would call this a fantasy. You will not magically become calm under pressure if you have not practiced calm in your everyday life. The confrontation is not the test. The confrontation is the final exam, revealing all the studying you did or didn't do beforehand. So where is the training ground? Where is the dojo for the modern soul? It is everywhere. It's in the morning traffic when someone cuts you off. That is your dojo. Do you train by reacting with anger, or do you train by taking a single, calm breath and letting it go? It's in the frustrating email that lands in your inbox. That is your dojo. Do you train by firing back an immediate emotional response, or do you train by waiting 1 hour, allowing your mind to cool and your response to become strategic? It's in the urge to complain about the weather, the news, or your coworker. That is your dojo. Do you train by indulging in negativity, or do you train by finding one small thing to be grateful for instead? Every single day presents you with dozens of opportunities to train your mind. Each time you choose a calm response over a reactive one, you are forging your soul. Each time you choose patience over frustration, you are adding a layer of armor. This is not optional. This is the price of mastery. You don't become a warrior by waiting for a war. You become a warrior by training relentlessly in times of peace, so that when the duel finally arrives, you don't have to think about being calm. Calm is simply who you are. The wisdom of Miyamoto Musashi is not about becoming a better fighter. It's about becoming so internally fortified that the need to fight begins to dissolve. The world is full of people who react without thinking, who are trapped by their own egos, and who break under the slightest pressure. But not you. You will be different, because you will learn to think lightly of yourself, and no one will control you with insults. You will learn to be fluid. You will see all the paths, and you will never fall into an obvious trap. You will recognize the patterns, and every move your opponent makes will be one you already anticipated. And you will train every day in the small moments, so that in the big moments, you will be invincible. The ultimate confrontation is never with the person standing in front of you. It's the duel between your reactive self and your centered self. And with this wisdom, it's a duel you can now win every time.